Alrighty, I think I'm gonna bring you two quick ones really for this video, and it's gonna be two successor chapters for the Salamanders. One is gonna be Covenant of Fire, and I chose them because I actually do like their heraldry, even though when it comes down to it, it's actually pretty simple, but it's still pretty good looking. And the other one, I believe, is called Astral Chargers. We're gonna start with Covenant of Fire. These guys are a successor chapter technically, but they're also a brand new chapter because they're comprised entirely of Primaris Space Marines. So what we're going to do is, again, we're always going to pick the assault, or not the assault, the tactical marine. He has the best canvas to do it. Put him on the standard armor pattern, and then the base color that you want is actually orange. And I wanted to pick these guys because there actually isn't a chapter here where, at least at the moment in Space Marine 2, that actually starts off with a base color of orange. So it doesn't matter which chapter you choose. Alright, now we're going to start from the top. So all you're going to do is you're just going to pick basic orange, just a standard orange color. It'll be available as a primary color for the helmet. You don't need a pattern or anything. So after you've colored the helmet orange, you're going to color the lens Averland Sunset. Actually, sorry, the helmet is not orange. I don't know why I was thinking it's orange. It's actually, the helmet is black, sorry. So for any black, again, just kind of choose whichever black you like. I'm going to go with Abaddon Black this time around because I don't think I'm using it. It's a good in-between between Known Oil, which is a very matted black, and Iron Hand Steel, which is very black but also has a bit more shine to it. So it is up to you on which one you want. Again, sometimes the color of the helmet can actually really make the lens color stand out a little bit more. And from the looks of it, Iron Hand Steel might make it pop more. But again, just kind of just up to you. The pack is going to be orange. Same thing with the body, the torso. Now for your secondary color, the trim color and such, you can either use Liberator Gold, Runelord Brass, or Gold. Though according to source material, you do want it to be a little bit more matted, a little bit brighter. The best option would be Runelord Brass, but if you do want a bit of a shine to your pauldron pieces and your iconography, or your Imperialis, you could just go with Liberator Gold, which is the standard default trim piece for all colors. But I am going to choose Runelord Brass because I do like that. It's a bit shinier and a little bit more matted, and you can kind of see a little bit more detail in the Imperialis. The pauldron, match the pauldron color to whatever black you're using, and then the trim piece is going to be whichever gold you're using. Now for iconography, on the left pauldron they actually use it just looks like a fire icon with I think it's like a shield behind it, but we don't have anything like that, so you could just use the Salamander's iconography or just leave it blank, up to you. If we had this emblem here, this marking for the Pyre Guard, it would be perfect to go on this side because this is what it looks like, but there's also kind of a shield in front of it, or behind it. So it would be perfect, so you could just leave that there. And if you want to keep that, you could just color it orange. I don't think we have orange as an option as a secondary, so you could just use Averland Sunset if you want. The same side, the color is the same side for both pauldrons, then pick your gold. The gauntlets are going to be the black of your choosing, and then the legs are also going to be that orange. And now for the final piece, and because as you can see, this is it. It's pretty simple, pretty basic, but I do like the color scheme for some reason. All you got to do left is to finish the left leg, and it's just a kneecap. So the emblem that you want actually is just a black arrow pointing up, and the best option we have for that is actually this guy here, Battle Line icon. Unfortunately, I don't have it because I haven't completed any of these difficulty missions, or any of these missions on lethal difficulty. This actually is the perfect one. You would pick this, just color in the Roman numerals the same color, which would be red, and the arrow red. I'm not sure if this is a solid color piece or not, otherwise the kneecap would be black. So it's black with a red arrow pointing on top. So just for now, I'll just color that in black. Again, this is something that tactical marines kind of have an issue with on their armor pieces, is some of the colors don't appear very pronounced because it's very faded on this armor. And when I choose Abaddon Black, as you can see, it's more kind of orange in color. So what I ended up going with was Iron Hand Steel for more black. And now it looks a little bit better. So that is kind of the interpretation right there. Again, we don't have a good interpretation for the left pauldron piece, nothing that resembles a fire icon. Otherwise, this is it. It's a good looking heraldry. This completes the look for Covenant of Fire. Really good looking piece, and when you start decking him out, he actually doesn't look too bad. So you have a good amount of choices to choose from. Again, when it comes to Tactical Marine, having these outlandish pauldrons, highly detailed and intricate, I really like his pauldrons. That gold does override the black, but it still actually does look pretty good. If you want, start experimenting with what you like. I've just heard about them. I've seen a couple of players running around with a Covenant of Fire-esque looking heraldry, and so that's what gave me the idea. Let's see, something is green on here. So it is actually a pretty good looking set of colors. Now we're gonna move on to Assault, and again, we're just gonna make it from scratch because he is the only one right now that has the Covenant of Fire heraldry. So we're just gonna go over to Assault, and actually I think what I'll do, I'll pick Heavy. I want to see what this guy will look like in that heraldry. So let's do this guy, the Heavy, give him standard armor. And if you want to make it easier to customize colors in which your majority of it's going to be the same color when you're editing heraldry, before you start adding the individual armor pieces, just go up to the base pattern and just pick that one color you're using. Because as you start picking individual colors and you have every single piece unlocked, this actually becomes grayed out, so you can't touch it. So now we'll just quickly do the same thing at the gauntlets. And once again, now that we have the base color set, again, lens color will be Averland Sunset. Make sure the helmet is black. I think for this one we'll go with Iron Hand Steel. The pack again is orange. Trim piece on that thing will be Runelord Brass or whatever gold that you prefer. Let's see, we're just gonna go Iron Hand Steel here. Runelord Brass. Emblem, I'll just leave the emblem as is, and I'll just leave that Pyroguard emblem as is because they're just going to get covered up by the more exquisite pauldron pieces. Gauntlets are going to be that black, and same thing for the kneecap. Again, just interpret it. Okay, so Iron Hand Steel on the Tactical Marine appears way more pronounced on his kneecap. On the Heavy's kneecap, it doesn't come out as pronounced, and this really is just more of a class to class type thing. And this just looks more dark orange, like a very dark orange, so I'll just leave it like that. So there you go. It's very simple and easy to do. Now we'll just quickly deck him out in armor. And he actually looks really good once you start giving him all his armor pieces. It's like, damn. Oh, look at that. The cloth on the pauldron actually works. Too bad I don't have it. I gotta complete one more mission to unlock that pauldron piece. Otherwise, yeah, the Heavy is coming out really good. I really like that. You know, I gotta get that pauldron piece to complete my Heavy's armor progression. So yeah, that's Covenant of Fire. Okay, and the second Salamander chapter that we're gonna be looking at is Astral Chargers. This video took a while for me to do, especially for Astral Chargers because of the color scheme. I was trying to find the perfect balance between the two blues I was looking at, because their heraldry is black and blue, but the blue was kind of hard to figure out, and then I eventually had to go look at the source material. Come to find out, the blue that I was using actually was too light. For some reason I thought it was the proper color, and then I go back and look at it and it's like, no, it's a completely different blue. I actually have it set up on my Bulwark, and I have the armor hidden because we're going to start first on the Tactical Marine and then we'll move it over to Bulwark, because on Bulwark I have it set up to where I have both blues used on the same armor setup that I have for him. And I'll leave it up to you guys to decide which one is more lore accurate, as well as posting up the picture, because it's kind of hard to tell if the blue is right or not, although I'm thinking it's going to be more of the McCrag blue that I'm leaning towards. So what we're going to do, start on the Tactical Marine, pick his base armor setup, and then just, since the base color actually is black, you can use Raven Guard, or Iron Hands, or you can use Black Templar. They each use all three of those known blacks. Raven Guard uses the known oil. Iron Hands Steel. Black Templars Abaddon Black. This time around I will use Raven Guard. I do like the more matted black. Okay, so the first thing we gotta do is we gotta get the armor pattern for the helmet. I like about Astral Chargers is they use a very specific armor pattern, and even though I should be using this on the Assault Marine, I am just going to show you on the Tactical Marine just so you can guys see your options. although Assault Marine will give you the best of both worlds. For this one, you actually will need either the standard DLC pack for Ultramarines or the Dark Angels DLC pack. This armor pattern here, that stripe, it should be readily available to you even if you have the standard edition. I know it was available for me when I bought the standard edition of Space Marine. This pattern was already available for me. I just had to unlock it in the Heraldry, which is for an Ultramarines chapter. And then this one is Dark Angels. For Astral Chargers, they actually use a combination of both of these patterns because both of these will actually be the same color. If you have Dark Angels pattern, you can go ahead and just use this. If not, just use the stripe. So pick one of the two. Now the primary color for the helmet is going to be blue. And this is where I was really having to think on which blue I had to use. At first I thought Sotek Green was perfect, but then when I looked back at it, it is much lighter in appearance than this. It doesn't have that teal-ish appearance. For some reason I thought it did. I've been struggling between Night Lord's blue and Macragge blue, and I think the best option has been Macragge blue, so we are going to go with Macragge. And now for the gray, I figured the best option is Ironbreaker. Alternative gray is Mechanicus Standard Gray. This is not a DLC color, and I don't remember if it's readily available to you or not, but it is a gray that is available to you nonetheless. Now for the pack is going to be blue as well. The chest piece, so the chest and the legs are going to stay that black, whichever black of you're choosing. The Imperialis will actually be Ironbreaker or a silver, not a silver, but a gray of your choice. You do need, I think a lighter gray, and I chose known oil because the grays appear better in front of known oil, which is why I'm choosing Ironbreaker. Mechanicus Standard Gray and Iron Warriors is too dark, so that's why I'm thinking Ironbreaker might be a good in-betweener. And for the Pauldron piece, so the Pauldron piece is actually going to be a solid color, going to be blue all around for both the main and primary and secondary color. The iconography, we do not have their iconography, which is that of a horse, but I did find that the closest one we can use is the Space Wolves icon. Space Wolves is readily available to you, so you do not need DLC for it, so I just choose that closest we can get to a horse. And then the same side the same thing for this Pauldron, it's going to be solid blue as well. Can't remember if I actually ever saw what their iconography looks like on the right Pauldron, so kind of just pick whatever. Or you can kind of pick something that's Salamander related, because again, these guys are Salamander Successor chapter. The gauntlets are going to be blue, and then for the kneecaps, this one's going to be pretty easy. Again, pick any emblem that's a full solid color, and then just color all of it blue. This does complete the look of an Astral Charger, Successor chapter of the Salamanders. And here's Assault Marine, and I just wanted to show you the helmet option. So as you can see, his helmet. So this is the final helmet to unlock in the armor progression for the Assault Marine. It actually gives you this gilded piece, which has the laurels. Alright, there was a minor screw up with the heraldry in here, and this is why it took forever. So as you can see, I zoomed in on this picture here of the source material, and you can clearly see the stripe on top of the helmet is actually black. I couldn't see it at first because of how shiny the source material was, and I couldn't zoom in on it in the first place until I was actually able to put it in post-editing. Forget using Ironbreaker's gray on the top silver, or on the top stripe of the helmet. Just replace that with the black, and then it'll be more lore accurate. And then of course the other thing I forgot to mention was the fur pattern that they have on the pauldrons. Obviously we don't have that, but again, that's the only other interpretation we had to do. We don't have access to that kind of material at the moment. And then I do have the heavy as well. Again, I think we're always going to have to do the heavy because the heavy I think comes out the best. And here he is as an Astral Charger. So I do like the way that helmet pattern comes out, because it doesn't color these things on the side of his armor or of his helmet. It's just that mouthpiece. So I actually think he looks really good as well. So there you go, Astral Chargers. All right, now we'll move on to the Bulwark, and I'll show you what he looks like as an Astral Charger. I did choose both Night Lords and Macragge Blue on two of the same looking armor, just so we can do that comparison again. And it'll be up to you guys to decide whether Macragge Blue is a better option or Night Lords Blue is a better option. There is no blue that's kind of in between, which I think is what we need for Astral Chargers. So which is why I thought Macragge Blue might be the better option. Here he is. So this is my interpretation of an Astral Charger on a Bulwark. This is him in Macragge Blue. It doesn't look too bad. And then here is Night Lord's Blue. So you can see Night Lord's Blue is much more saturated opposed to Macragge Blue, which is a lot lighter in color. It's more of a base color, whereas this is just more of a saturated version of Macragge Blue. When I was comparing this to the source material, that's when I decided I think Macragge Blue might be the better option. I don't really know, but I'm still leaning towards that Macragge Blue. So I don't know, I'll leave it up to you guys. I'll leave a little thing right here on the left of the source material and let you guys decide. But other than that, this is my interpretation of 2 successor chapters for the Salamanders. Hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I was able to keep this one a little bit shorter than usual. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.